Hola, comunidad de Greenfield. Hello, Greenfield community. I'm Mrs. Galvan, the superintendent of Greenfield Union School District, continuing to read stories to you and love connecting with our children here in Greenfield. And so today's selection is Clara and the Curandera. So Clara y la Curandera is a story that I'm going to read to you about history and about cultures and how stories are passed on from generation to generation. And so I want you to talk with your family today as we read this selection so that you can kind of learn some stories as they pass on from generation to generation. Hola, mi comunidad de Greenfield. Soy Superintendente Galván con el Distrito Escolar de Greenfield leyendo otra historia con ustedes. Y hoy la historia se llama Clara y la Curandera. Y eso es sobre historias que pasan de generaciones a generaciones. So, por favor, hablan con sus abuelos, sus padres sobre la historia de su familia para ver qué hay las historias que ustedes pueden tener y pasar a generación a generación. So here we go. Clara y la Curandera. Clara and the Curandera. And for today's story, I am going to mix in a little Spanish. I'm going to take turns. I'm going to read one story in English and one in Spanish so that you can listen a little bit to both languages. So we'll start with English. Once there was a little girl named Clara who was grumpy. She was grumpy about having to take out the trash. She was grumpy about having to share her toys with her 7 brothers and sisters. And she was grumpy about having to read 1 book a week for her reading journal at school. There she is, not so happy. Después de ver a Clara fruncir al ceño demasiadas veces, Mami dijo, basta, ya, es hora de que vayas a ver a la curandera que vive en el apartamento 220. Es muy sabia y sabe y debes preguntarle qué debes hacer. Ándale, ve. Enojada, furiosa y triste, Clara se marchó. Now back to English. The door to the apartment 220 was open. Clara walked in and smelled candles and cookies. Sit, Clara, the curandera said, smiling. I hear you have been very grumpy. Can you tell me why this is? I'm tired of not having any space or time to myself, Clara said with a frown. The curandera just looked at her, took her hand, and looked into her eyes. Clara, te voy a decir lo que tienes que hacer. Quiero en la próxima semana no solo saques la basura de su casa, sino de la señora García y también de la señora Chávez. Además, quiero que les regales todos sus juguetes favoritos a tus hermanos y tus hermanas. Finalmente, quiero que leas, en vez de 1, 5 libros esta semana. ¿Puedes hacer esto para mí? Clara estaba sorprendida y molesta, pero no quería ser desobediente. Por eso dijo sí. It was a very busy work for Clara. The hardest part was giving away her toys. She gave her little sister Ana her favorite stuffed cheetah and her brother Miguel her soccer ball. She gave her twin sisters her jump rope and her brother Juan a game of checkers. Her big brother Pedro got her Legos, and the hardest part of all, she gave little Tina her favorite doll. Sus hermanos y hermanas estaban tan contentos que fueron más amables con ella. Ven a jugar con nosotros, Clara, le dijeron. Se pasa toda la semana saltando de la cuerda con las gemelas, jugando a los demás, damas chinas con Juan y los Legos con Pedro. Toda la familia jugó fútbol después de la cena y antes de ir a dormir, la pequeña Tina le susurró, Clara, eres la mejor hermana, la mayor más buena de todo el mundo. When Clara wasn't playing, she was taking out the trash for her family and her neighbors. Señora Chavez and Señora Garcia were so thankful. Señora Garcia even gave Clara a big hug. And Señora Chavez said, you are such a sweet girl. Clara felt happy, though she wasn't sure why. La mami de Clara la llevó a la biblioteca para sacar libros que quisiera. Clara encontró libros sobre pájaros y mariposas y peces. Los llevó a la y adivina qué pasó. ¿Le gustaron? Clara decidió que tal vez sería veterinaria cuando creciera. Mami le dijo, Clara, no te he visto fruncir el ceño ni una sola vez esta semana. Clara went back to the curandera's apartment at the end of the week. That wasn't too bad, she said. I don't even think I'm even have time to be grumpy. The curandera looked deep into her eyes and said, very good. Now you can stop taking out everyone's trash and you can stop reading a book every day. Also, I have a present for you. She gave Clara a brand new doll with brown curls and a beautiful purple pretty velvet dress. This is just for you. You don't have to share it with anybody if you don't want to. Clara left the curandera's house surprised and more confused than ever. Fue una semana muy extraña. Clara solo sacó la basura de su familia, llevó solo un libro y no compartió su muñeca nueva con sus hermanos y hermanas. Ahora tenía mucho tiempo de espacio, pues casi no tenía quehaceres. Pero, ¿adivina qué pasó? Clara se sintió molesta y hasta un poco triste. She thought of the curandera and realized what was wrong. She missed taking out the trash for Señora Garcia and Señora Chavez. At least she missed those hugs and those warm smiles too, and the special way that they made her feel. She decided to keep taking out their trash. Clara extrañaba leer tantos libros sobre animales y echaba lo menos las aventuritas que emprendía con los personajes de sus libros. Al final, Clara le preguntó a mami, ¿me llevas a la biblioteca otra vez, por favor? Si voy a ser veterinaria, tengo mucho que leer. Por supuesto, dijo mamá con una sonrisa. Most of all, Clara missed sharing and laughing and playing with her brothers and sisters. So guess what? She asked little Tina if she wanted to play dolls and everyone else if they wanted to have a soccer game after dinner. They all said yes, of course. So Clara was happy. She ran down the hall and thanked the curandera and tell her what she had learned. Pero cuando llegó, la curandera estaba muy ocupada hablando con el travieso Nicolás, que vivía al final del pasillo. Y eso es el final. And that's the end of the story. This is a really good, and I like reading to you in English and Spanish because it's really good when we can share our languages with each other. And at the very end, she went back to talk to the curandera, and she was working on another boy. So she's a pretty smart lady to give her tricks because in the end, Clara felt really special because she was able to do a lot of things with her family and her neighbors, and it made her feel much better. So this story today was Clara and the curandera, and she learned some really good lessons in how to share with other people. So thank you for joining me today. I love reading stories to you, and I can't wait to read another one tomorrow. So here I am, Mrs. Galvan, with the superintendent of Greenfield Union School District, sending a great big bear hug from our family to yours.